All right, on to our next conversation now. Well, today is International Accounting Day, and accounting is vital to business and public finance success. And interestingly, the celebration is today, 10th of November each year. It's an opportunity to acknowledge the great work accountants do to make businesses thrive, support the economy, and help people navigate the complexities of finance. Well, we have joined us now Professor Benjamin Osisioma, President, Association of National Accountants of Nigeria. Great to have you on the program, sir. Good morning.
Thank you very much
Well, it's
for
International
having me.
Accounting. Yeah, thank you. It's International Accounting Day today. Can you tell us the significance of this day and why it's celebrated globally?
Well, thank you very much. Actually, the International Accounting Day dates back to, it became almost the norm about 1972. And in the US, you have the National Accounting Day, International Accounting Day, and in different climes, there are different dates. Actually, it's not the November 10 is not universal. In the US, they regard May 10. Some say October 21. This last year, one of the states had their own on October 21. But the important thing is that accountants, like you observed, they play a very key role in business. I usually say that we hold the pulse of business, and it's our duty to ensure that business runs smoothly. We oil the machinery of business. If you take it historically, traditionally, the accountant was more like someone who advised from the background, hardly demanding any rights. He could be seen, he could not, or heard behind the scenes, not seen actually. And the accountant was not very much considered a great factor in business. We were told in basic management that accounting is a staff function as opposed to a line function. Because it is a staff function, it has an authority to advise. If it's in a line function, it would have authority to act. And so we end up advising executives who may or may not accept what we're saying.
Right.
And often, almost always, the accountant gets away with, goes with the short end of the stick. Anytime things go wrong, we pile it on the accountant. When there's embezzlement and corruption, we pile it on the accountant. When the economy is not going well, we pile it on the accountant. And the accountant hardly has any say. So It's indeed a relief that the world thought that we should have an accounting day.
To celebrate.
Let's be head for once.
Right, right.
Yes.
Well, yes,
to celebrate these men, they may be crunching figures, but they have something to, contribute to our whatever we're doing anywhere.
Right. And, accountancy, as you said, plays a key role when it comes to actually budgeting, both private and public sectors. And President Muhammadu Buhari unveiled a federal budget estimate of about 16.39 trillion naira for 2022, tagged the budget of economic growth and sustainability. What were the key takeaways for you looking at that budget?
First of all, the theme says a budget of economic growth and sustainability. My first reaction was, what are the drivers of that growth? What are the issues around which the growth factor would revolve? What has government put in place to drive this growth? And then before we begin to talk about the sustainability aspect to it, the truth of the matter is that I also listened to the minister say that the crucial problem today is not debt overload or debt burden. It's more like a revenue generation. I think the issue is we are concerned with both of them, both revenue generation and the debt issue. I think that the budget has laid down some, basic planks, but you find that we're expecting a deficit of over 6 trillion naira. When you add it to particularly domestic debt profile that is rising, even the external debt profile that is rising, when you look at the overall debt GDP ratio, you discover that we are steadily rising. I hope we don't get to the point where we have to globetrot the world asking them to cancel our debts again. Nobody will listen to us, I suspect. And I also see that government expects to raise a lot of revenue from excise, duties, and the VAT and all that. I would have wanted to know, what do we intend to do to bring Nigerians back to work, to increase productivity, so that the informal sector will thrive, so that people will generate revenue that will keep the government going, keep the entire economy running. So these are the factors that I was looking forward to. And I also know that somehow security issues are interwoven with economic factors when we come to particularly developing countries like ours. These are some of the issues that's why in the budget so much was given to defense, so much to education. One would have thought that education would be out there. Something has been done, but still a far cry from the expectation that 25% should go to education and that kind of thing. I just retired from the university after nearly 40 years of service. And I must tell you that
Congrats.
I think that one of the problems we have in this country is that we are underutilizing the resources we have in the academic institutions. The papers we write, the ideas we canvass, we may get them occasionally from time to time to sit on boards of government, but we can galvanize elsewhere. They are the engine room for the ideas that drive the nation. I'm looking forward to a budget that will harness all these things. And the one last point, it's not enough to put together a budget. I like follow-up processes. How did the past budget do? What are the indices to show whether we are succeeding or failing? How do we ensure that the next one will do better than the last one? And so that it doesn't just become an annual jamboree. Let me leave it at that.
Okay. All right. Moving on to, other issues like, currency. Now, recently the CBN launched the e-Naira, which is a digital version, of the Naira. How do you see this impacting the, accounting system?
Well, the idea of an e-Naira, we are told, is to facilitate the payment process, to make it easy to enter into transactions and settle them. That's okay. That alone could bring some speed into the commercial process. It could hasten and make the process move better. That's okay. I've heard a little bit of course, with time we'll get used to what it involves. The e-wallet and all that, funding it and making sure that you make your payments. It doesn't add to your money, it just enables you to make payments quicker. For us accountants, we don't have any we don't have any take there either way. Whether it's e-currency or normal currency, our duty is to track, to follow the funds. I usually tell people that money leaves trail. And what we do is follow it and make sure that we give an account. The accountant primary duty is to report. So we will report, whether it's e-currency or
but interestingly,
hard currency, virtual currency.
But interestingly, with the e-Naira, most of these transactions are supposed to be seen, like on a public ledger on the blockchain. So I'm thinking that should help accountants actually be able to track the money in real time.
That's what I'm saying, that money leaves a trail. So somehow it would aid transparency. It may bring some compulsion on the need for accountability. But if I were to say, I would think that perhaps the more desperate need of the economy at this point is to see what we're going to do about the value of our Naira, whether it's e-Naira or physical Naira.
Right.
A situation where the dollar is rising and rising and rising, and this is an import-dependent economy with all the ripple effects that will go with it. I think it's a little too problematic. I thought the CBN, while we get us this e-Naira, also see how we can address this issue. I know that the value of the Naira is tied with the productivity of the economy. What do we need to do to improve the strength of our local currency so that our international transactions will favor us more?
All right. Okay. Well, very briefly now, what is the Association of National Accountants of Nigeria contributing, in equipping accountants and ensuring, a professional personnel?
Thank you very much. You see, the Association of National Accountants of Nigeria came on board 1979. We first registered in 1983, then received a charter in the form of a law in 1993. And we've not been there for too long, but in a little time we've been there. We have membership of over 45,000.
Right.
We every year we train our members to remain on the cutting edge of developing knowledge in the profession. We just finished a national conference where we tried to look at economic growth side by side with the post-COVID era, the developments, even our mandatory continuing professional development. And let me emphasize, we've said it often, that we started MCPD for professional groups in Nigeria in 1996. That was when our then president, late Dr. J.K. Odumeru, introduced MCPD, mandatory continuing professional development,
Right.
so that people will not just have degrees and qualifications that are rusty. They get into organizations, colonize positions, and become
All right.
an albatross on the neck of the organization.
All right,
So we
Mr.
train them
Sisioma.
to have better skills and to do better, good techniques, good
Yeah.
knowledge, good competencies, so that the organization will grow.
Okay. All right, Mr. Benjamin Osisioma, President, Association of National Accountants of Nigeria. Thank you so much for coming on the program, and happy International Accounting Day.
Thank you very much. Celebrate
Thank
with
you.
us.
Thank you.
Thank you.